I was gonna be done, but I have one more video. It's called How Things Are Symbolic in Life. So things happen in your life, like random events, situations, things like falling on the ground or things passing by on in your day-to-day life. But this really could be signs and symbols from the universe, like messages from God, the universe. Essentially trying to tell you. There's a lot of times when I've been on YouTube and some random video that you think is completely not relative to you pops up, and you might ridicule it in your mind, but then you have to humble yourself and check it out and see what is it about and could it help you. But straight up, here's some examples of how the universe, I've noticed symbolism. So okay, here's one. When I was younger, I had a friend. Essentially, he was my best friend growing up. And essentially, when I was growing up, I remember the parents, when we moved into the neighborhood, the parents would warn my neighborhood, my mother, and even the teachers would say, "Hey, this we know your kid is a very straight arrow, very good," because people already know what you are when they look at you, good or evil, basically. And essentially, some people are good at hiding it, but actually, there are masters of hiding it, and I will tell you about that in a second. But essentially, um, this parents were saying this kid is he's a bad kid, and he shouldn't hang out with me. But I didn't listen. And essentially, he was like the only kid in the neighborhood who I got along with. So it's like we got close, and essentially negative, positive attract. But essentially, this kid never. We spent like years together, and essentially, he always had a plan to hurt me. He never wanted to be my friend. He never was my best friend. He was a undercover. He was like a slimy, snaky loser. He's a loser now, and essentially, he's just a. I think he's an energy vampire, to be honest, and I feel sorry for his wife and kid because, yeah, I can just imagine shit. It probably would be shit to live around him, but just toxic, right? But essentially, I remember when we were kids, he would we would play video games and he would kill me in the video game. And essentially, this is symbolic. If you have a friend and you're playing video games and they always kill you in the video game, they are spiritually against you. And I know that sounds crazy, but you fucking don't hang around them. Avoid them at all costs because they're gonna try to sabotage you in some point in your life. Trust me. Avoid them right away. Cut them off like a fucking like a shit piece of shit. And also another situation example, my mother. I was raised by a narcissist mother, an evil witch mother who tried to kill me. Essentially, her and my sister tried to kill me. They tried to sacrifice me. They tried to get me to suicide. They tried to put me down, tried to steal my energy and get me to kill myself, basically. Essentially, they tried to destroy me. Essentially, I remember my mother would say stuff like, she loved me to death. Or like, just things that, like what's another symbolic? Oh yeah, I remember when I left. This evil entity gave me things to use. And essentially, I started realizing that items are energy and that people who are not for you, you don't take items from them because they're essentially cursed. Is the example, they give you a gift, you put it down somewhere, and essentially you're going to trip over it and break your leg or something like that. Essentially, these items in your home are gateways, portals to your realm, to your room spiritually. Essentially, they can steal your energy through items or curse you. So don't take items from people you don't know and also from people who are against you. And many of our family members are actually spiritually against us. So essentially, this witch gave me a fucking can opener that was fucking busted up, rusty and broken. It gave me a fucking plate that was cracked. It bought me a brand new, cheap as fuck $10 coffee maker. And it was a black one, interestingly enough. And I noticed that symbolically, people who hate God, they like to dress in dark colors and black. And they like to hang out in the dark. People who have secrets to hide, they like to go out at night. But anyway, people who are of God, they usually are hanging out in the day and they usually wear white. It's just the honest truth. Like more like light, right? And then essentially, you'll see all people sorts holy, they start wearing more white. And essentially, yeah, I think it's a red flag if they're wearing black, actually. Anyway, so also let's see here. Yeah, she gave me stuff that was broken. Oh, the coffee maker. So essentially, what I noticed is that when I was cooking, I'm living just in a private little corner basement here by myself, which is awesome. But essentially, and especially on the ground, you find a ground place. You don't live up in the air in the sky. You live on the ground floor, so you can heal and send the energy that you absorb in your body back into the earth. But essentially, I noticed that when I started cooking and charging my phone, it was okay. But when I started using the coffee maker at the same time, all my shit was short out. everything would short out. Everything would fucking, I'd have to wait like 5 minutes for these guys up there to fucking restart everything. And essentially, I have to use everything separately because this witch's energy is attached to the items. Not because, oh, it's like this voltage or whatever. No, no, no. If I bought a random one that was cheap, the same, the white one maybe, or another $10 one, it wouldn't do the same thing. Also, I noticed things like, example, yeah, just the things that they gave me would just break and just tear and fade or wear quickly. I had this blanket. I threw away a lot of stuff that I did a massive cleansing, but essentially you're separating yourself energetically from these people. This blanket with a fucking cord that's fucking someone's wrapped around my neck when I'm waking up, because this thing's trying to choke you out, right? Here's another thing symbolically. Symbolic. So I was working at a psychedelic dispensary, and essentially it was controlled by a wizard who was a Freemason for the Illuminati. Essentially, they use psychedelic drugs that, when you use enough of them, they actually make you vulnerable to the spiritual realm, and you're actually in the spiritual realm. And essentially, these entities, they put ideas in your mind, and they always teach a monistic belief that we are all one, we are all God, we are all energy, and we're all energy, we're all connected, but we're not God, we're not the creator, we are separate from God, and we are not infinity, we're not stuck in an infinite loop that we have to break. We have to trust on God and separate ourselves from evil. But these evil people who control the world, they want to combine with evil, and they think by doing that will break the cycle, but they're evil. But what was the point of this? Fuck, so important that I get this right. I didn't help me remember what I was talking about. I'll just sit here awkwardly until I remember. I don't care. Items. So essentially, oh yeah, here's the symbolism. So as I was working there, I actually met a gatekeeper of reality. And I'm going to tell you, there's so many layers of witchcraft in reality that are connected to your body, like an onion, that hold trauma, that when you start unraveling everything and trying to detach yourself from the system, there's going to be these gatekeepers that come and try to put you back to sleep. Essentially, when I started working there was this guy, he opened the door for me. He opened the gate. He was this big guy, and he was a very, like, perfect, nice, kind. He was a bodybuilder, big, beautiful body, beautiful face, beautiful smile, beautiful eyes, beautiful hair, kind-hearted. He would go and do donations on Wednesdays to the homeless. He was a pilot. He was a firefighter. But something about him was off. And I remember he had this really small little yappy little dog. And it was like a confliction to me. I'm like, this guy's so big and jacked, but he has this little fucking little chihuahua or something that's like doesn't even match with him. It's like it didn't match with his energy. And also he didn't like I like martial arts as a masculine alpha male. He liked to pretend he was an alpha male, but he was not. He wasn't. He was a beta male. He was like an alpha beta male or something. And then he liked to pretend he was humble, but he wasn't. He was so proud. His arrogance was like, oh, I have a smaller ego. But he was always trying to act like he had the small ego, but he was actually using witchcraft, projecting onto me, actually. And I was in pain with my body, because these people who have witchcraft, this Illuminati cult that controls the world, they're a bunch of wizards, warlocks, and wizards, warlocks, and witches that have knowledge of energy manipulation. Because your health, your body, your like posture and the muscles you have in your body is connected to your manifesting, how you feel happy, how you feel calm. And straight up, this fucking asshole was a gatekeeper. He was like watching me suffering in pain with my scoliosis and back pain because I had inactive back muscles. And essentially I had to figure out that I had witchcraft on me. And essentially I had to figure out that I had a witch's knot in my stomach. I have a video explaining how to get that out of your system. And essentially we all have it, all the men in the society, unless you're part of this Illuminati cult. But essentially these men are all controlled by witches anyway. They're all controlled by a woman. But essentially this idiot was trying to act like he was a hero when he wasn't. He was part of this Illuminati cult that actually used knowledge to control humanity and bind us and keep us in pain. And so he was watching me, and he would be smiling in his eyes, watching me writhe in pain on the ground, stretching like and shit. I was doing this for months and shit. And this guy's like, eventually after he acted like he was so good, but he never wanted to help me until I asked him a few months. I think after a month working there, I worked there for like 6 months or a year with him. or like fuck, who cares? But 6 months or some shit. But anyway, after the first few months, I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask him for advice because he looks like he knows about his body. So then he started like teaching me fitness. But then first of all, I asked him to teach me Goda, and firstly he stopped. It's like he was trying to essentially gatekeep me and fuck my body up, and essentially compress me more. That's exactly what I felt. Essentially, he was a gatekeeper and acting. And what I'm saying is that there's people who are evil, and there are people who are good, and there are people who are evil who like to destroy and kill you. But there are also another type of evil. They like to control you, like my mother. But there's also another type of evil, like this person who's a gatekeeper. And essentially, what they are in reality is there's different levels of gatekeepers. And essentially, what they do is they tell you like 70% truth, 30% lies. Or like Alex Jones, 90% truth, 10% lies. But then there's also like higher level gatekeepers, like 97% gatekeepers, 98. And there's even 99 ones. But now I realize there's even 99 ones. Because what they do is they look perfect. They look like perfect models of society. They do everything perfectly. They act like they're helping people when they're not. Okay, they act like maybe they help people too, but what they do is they actually turn people. So example, the truth is here, you're gonna go there. They actually take you and they turn you. So all they do, their job is to look like, this is how the devil works. He has these plans, and there's these Christian channels, these people who profess like true, pure gospel, but right at the last second, and there's symbols to discern. There's always like, the devil always has to say the truth. So there's always like a symbol, like a lightning or some kind of symbol in their influencer channel that will show what they believe. Or sometimes they say something, or because the devil always has to say the truth. But essentially, there's red flags. And essentially, there's these 99% level gatekeepers that they're going to say like 100% truth or 99% truth. But the last second, when the Antichrist comes, they're going to say, oh, he's Jesus. This is the truth, the way, and to the life, to escape. So there's these gatekeepers. Essentially, this idiot piece of shit gatekeeper was acting like he was a hero, but he's not a hero firefighter. He's a loser who's a sellout for the occult, being controlled by witches, and I would kick his ass in a second if we had to fight. And I think he's arrogant and a piece of shit, and the truth will be exposing everything soon. So fuck you, dude. You fucking gatekeeper piece of shit. And then also, you know what's symbolic? So essentially, he was a gatekeeper, gatekeeping the knowledge. Because like I said, it's like a cult, right? And they have knowledge. Because like in ancient Hinduism and all these elites who are doing psychedelics and all these gurus who are meditating for hours, emptying their mind, these entities come and put that belief like, oh, you're all one, you're all God, you're all connected. But it's just a feeling. It's not something we know as something to be true. And how do you know it's true? You follow God's word. And essentially, you have to not feel like it's true, like what they say, or what you experience in those spiritual experiences. You have to think, not feel. This whole world's going off feeling, which is off of your body, carnal, flesh. You have to go by knowing. And essentially, at the end of this whole thing, I was the only one in this cult. I got like, it's like a ritual. They did a ritual. They pulled my resume out of a pile. Essentially, there was like a Kabbalistic nest of witches, warlocks, and wizards, an evil wizard managing this psychedelic dispensary. After working there, I learned all their secrets, reflected all their shitty witchcraft attacks back, learned all their knowledge, and now I'm here to expose it to everyone. Essentially, you know what happened? I became promoted. And in the end, I became the gatekeeper. I got the keys. I started sitting above him on the second floor. And eventually when he left for his job, I was locking up, letting him out, because I became the gatekeeper of knowledge and wisdom on this earth. So the Illuminati has to submit to me now. And the power structure and has shifted. Everything has shifted because of me.